Yo, what is up, everybody? Welcome to my very first mock draft of the year. There will be plenty more to come, as it is now the off season, the draft season. So we're here on for my very first mock draft. I will make some mistakes. I don't really think there's mistakes in a mock draft. I'll make picks that might not seem logical. I can guarantee that. Um, yeah, I think I see. There's a lot more of these popping up. I might do once a week. I might do these once a week, unless that just becomes too repetitive. The major ones to look out for are after the free agency and the NFL Combine coming up in a couple months, or not a couple months, shortly. Um, Actually, I don't know the exact time, but let's go ahead and get right into this. Starting off with the easiest pick in the draft, the Jacksonville Jaguars. I have them selecting Trevor Lawrence. He's just he's near perfect as a quarterback. You can't ask for too much more. Um, yeah, he's going number one, best quarterback prospect in a very long time. Now this pick honestly dictates a lot of what happens in the draft. Um, this pick dictates a lot whether they stick with Sam Darnold or they go ahead and choose a new quarterback. Um, Personally, I can see them going either way. I think either way is a logical way to go about this. But I think you go Penei Sewell here. He is a very good, the best offensive lineman in this draft class, followed closely by Rashawn Slater. But what this does if you're the Jets is it gives you your cornerstone tackles in Becton and Sewell. Either one of them can play right or left. Um, right. And what this does, it gives Darnold one more opportunity on his rookie deal. And if that doesn't work out, well, then you're going to be picking here again Sam Howell, Spencer Rattler. You'll be fine. So I think you go with Penei Sewell here, sorry, and that helps you out quite a bit on the offensive line. Now for the Dolphins, they don't need a quarterback, so I'll go ahead and knock those two out. And it comes down really to these top three players: Ja'Marr Chase, Devontae Smith, and Jalen Waddle. I think a lot of people are sleeping on Ja'Marr Chase just because he didn't play this year. Devontae Smith, I think, is a little too overhyped. Is a very extremely talented player, but a little bit too overhyped just due to the fact that he won the Heisman. And Jalen Waddle, I think, is the best. I think Jalen Waddle is the best receiver from this in this draft class. He was outpacing Devontae Smith. Probably if he had stayed, would have won the Heisman. But yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and select Waddle to the Dolphins. I think it'll come down for them between Waddle and Smith if Penei Sewell isn't available. But yeah, I personally think Waddle's better. The Dolphins would probably end up drafting Smith, but this is what I'm going to do. I'm in charge. We're drafting Jalen Waddle. For the Falcons, you also could look at this many different ways. Either you go quarterback in Wilson or Fields, have them sit behind Ryan for a year, then cut him. These two start, or you want to stick it out with Ryan over the contract and go best defensive player available, Sertan Farley or Micah Parsons, maybe Kwity Paye. I think they need a quarterback. I love Matt Ryan, but I think the likelihood that you're picking this high again if you're the Falcons is unlikely, or next year. But I think you go quarterback, and to me, the best one available is Justin Fields. I think it is very close between him and Zach Wilson, but I personally think Justin Fields is a little bit better. Maybe not as high of a ceiling. Even I think Fields' floor is a little bit higher, But Wilson's ceiling is also a tad bit higher, not by much. But overall, I think you go Fields, bring him home. Yeah. So this is the first reach in the draft is the Cincinnati Bengals as they go ahead and take Rashawn Slater. It is reach in quotations, not an overall reach, because Rashawn Slater is absolutely amazing. He's phenomenal. He is one of the only players to slow down Chase Young. And he has he has offensive line versatility, an absolutely amazing prospect, and the Bengals go ahead and protect Joe Burrow with that pick. I am a fan of that one. Well, obviously, because I did it. Next, the Philadelphia Eagles. This can go one of two ways, or one of three ways. You take one of these two receivers. I think that's the common pick in most mock drafts. Is taking one of these two, or Waddle. Taking receiver is the common pick. You could also take Kyle Pitts here, who is absolutely amazing. If you've watched any Bengal videos, he is not only just a tight end. He is an outside threat. You could really it comes down to any of these five right here. For these three, I think you can group them all into one because of Pitt's versatility. And but then it just comes down to who do you value more, Chase Smith or Pitts. Or if you think they need cornerback more, then you go Surtain or Farley. For me, I think receiver is a bigger need, especially if they want Hurts or Wentz to succeed. I think you go Jamar Chase, the best receiver available. And it's not that I dislike Devontae Smith. I think he's an absolute stud. I just think these two are just a little bit better. Next, with the Detroit Lions, before the Matthew Stafford trade, it was commonly believed that they would take a quarterback. Now, I don't think so. Do they need one even more now? Yes. Will they take one? No, because they like Jared Goff a lot, and if you want Jared Goff to succeed, you're gonna have to take somebody, and that's Devontae Smith, best receiver available, best fit for the Lions. As you could compare him with Pitts. But T.J. Hawkinson, I don't think they're going to run too many two tight end sets. I think they prefer Devontae Smith, especially when Marvin Jones and forgot his name. Well, I just blanked on the name, but it's okay. Their two top, Marvin Jones and that's going to kill me. Their two top receivers are up in free agency, and yeah, now you got what might actually even be Kenny Golladay. That's his name. Yeesh. I'm really sorry about that. Kenny Golladay and Marvin Wilson are free agents. You can't bank on them being re-signed, which is kind of the mindset I'll be in for this. You can't bank on someone being there when they're free agent. So Devontae Smith comes in, number one receiver for Jared Goff. Goff is going to love it. Now the Panthers looked into this. I think this is the best outcome for the Panthers with the Jets taking Penei Sewell, because now you get Zach Wilson. I think there's a bigger difference. There's a fairly sizable difference between Lance and Wilson. Not by much. Lance is an amazing prospect. But I think Wilson is a tad bit better, so this works out great for the Panthers, especially now that the Lions will not take a quarterback this year. Maybe they will take like a Desmond Ridder, Jamie Newman later in the second, third round. Or is Desmond Ridder coming back? Why don't I know this? Okay, yeah, he came back. So yeah, maybe the Lions take Jamie in the second, or Mond, or one of these quarterbacks down here later on. Maybe, I don't know for sure. But I do know Panthers will take a quarterback. You got Zach Wilson. Maybe the second highest ceiling of quarterbacks behind Trevor Lawrence. So, yeah, Zach Wilson goes 8 to the Panthers. Now at number 9. It's tough for the Broncos, not because there's not any options. There's 3 options. 3 options. 4 options. They're in a good spot. but it will be a defensive player more than likely, at least with how the draft board has worked itself out. For me, it comes down to Surtain, Patrick Surtain, Caleb Farley, and Kwity Paye. Those are the three it comes down to. It was always, for me, between Surtain and Farley because they need the cornerback help. But when you think about the mindset, not everybody maybe everybody won't come back. That includes Von Miller, in which case they need edge rusher. Kwity Paye is absolutely amazing. But they did just cut A.J. Boye, which leaves room for Surtain and Farley. I personally think Farley is the better of the two, so I'm going to go ahead and have him go to the Denver Broncos. So now I've done some research a little bit. I've looked at more than 5 mock drafts. But in every single mock draft, the Cowboys take a cornerback. We're keeping that the same. They take Patrick Surtain. The other pick could be Christian Darrisaw. I think the other pick would be an offensive tackle, depending on who you have ranked higher out of these couple. I've seen anyone from Ray Duns to Cosme ranked in any order, but we are going to go ahead with Patrick Surtain. So the New York Giants, they need a separator. They need someone who can produce offense. There's none better than Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts he's amazing. Kyle Pitts is a stud, maybe one of the highest ceilings out of any player in this draft. I mean, when you go and look at it, it just makes it shorter. Trevor Lawrence, I would say, has a higher ceiling. Outside of that, maybe Waddle, maybe Fields, maybe these two, maybe Wilson. But those are all maybes. Like, the only for sure one that has a higher ceiling, I would say, is Trevor Lawrence. So I think Kyle Pitts is an absolute stud. And getting him at the 11th pick is absolutely amazing. And this draft also worked out well for the San Francisco 49ers, as they get the quarterback, maybe not the one they necessarily wanted, but they got him. I could see them trading up. Maybe they trade Jimmy G to a team. Never mind. They ain't. None of these teams want Jimmy. Yeah, never mind on that. Maybe they can find a way to trade up. Maybe trade in some picks, get Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. Maybe once they see Zach Wilson slip past the Falcons, maybe they trade up to here. But yeah, they go ahead and take Trey Lance, which again, 12th pick is very good value for him. Now the Chargers need to protect their stud quarterback, and it comes down. It doesn't really come down. It's going to be Christian Darrisaw. He's the best O-lineman available. It was between Darrisaw and Vera Tucker, but I think offensive tackle is more of a need, and because of that, the Vikings will now get Elijah Vera Tucker, the best guard in the class. So I think that works out very well for both those two teams. I could see them flipping. I could see Samuel Cosme, Tevin Jenkins. My mind just went blank. Any Mayfield, Eichenberg, Leatherwood. I could see any of those guys going up here, but I think Darrisaw and Vera Tucker are the two best for those teams. Now the New England Patriots, my team, I would have loved for Kyle Pitts to have fallen, but he didn't. So we are here, and I'm going to go ahead and give us Micah Parsons. We need linebacker help. Bad. Our defense is not good. Our offense is worse, but I think another pick this could have been is Rondale Moore. The pick, I know they have him ranked very low here at 48th. Great potential there. Same with Rashod Bateman. Kadarius Toney, absolutely amazing. Tutu Atwell, Collins. These guys are down here, but you can also get them in the second round. Hence why I think you go with Micah Parsons here and get insane value for it. Now, the Arizona Cardinals, they need cornerback help. Bad. Patrick Peterson has been on the decline. Isaiah Simmons has not played great. Granted, he's not necessarily cornerback, though he could play slot. So I'm definitely going to go cornerback here for the Cardinals. And it came down to two players, J.C. Horn and Eric Stokes. But J.C. Horn, I think, just fits in a little bit better. A nice perimeter defender, nice perimeter corner. Should help the Cardinals out quite a bit. And they need it going up against receivers like DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Cooper Kupp. Why is my mind not working? Brandon Ayuk as he gets better. Deebo Samuel. So they need outside help bad. J.C. Horn can definitely help there. Now for the Raiders, we can see their draft history. They like speed and versatility. Well, this for the most part, speed's off the board offensively. I mean, you got Harris and Etienne. They don't need a running back though. Wide receiver Rashod Bateman's not the fastest. That'd probably go to Waddle in this draft class. So the two it comes down to for me is Kwity Paye and Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah. I'm going to go ahead and give them Owusu-Koramoah as their linebacking core is very, very, very bad. So they go ahead and look out with Owusu-Koramoah, sorry. Now the Miami Dolphins, they took wide receiver first round. A common pick for them is Najee Harris, Etienne, or it could be a wide receiver here. But I'm going to go ahead and give them Samuel Cosmi. Their tackles aren't great. Yes, they did. They took Austin Jackson in the last class. I'm trying. My memory is not great today, but I know their current right tackle can play. Has some O-line versatility. Sorry, I don't remember his name. I think you can slide Cosmi into that right tackle spot and move the current right tackle into either one of the guard positions, probably right guard. So I think Samuel Cosmi is the pick here, protecting Tua. Now for the Washington football team, we know they need a quarterback. Mac Jones is the best available, which isn't great. He has a solid floor, but overall not great, which is why I'm going to go ahead and give them a wide receiver, who fits well with Terry McLaurin. I like Kadarius Toney. I think it's absolutely amazing. I think Rondale Moore has wide receiver 1 potential. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give them Kadarius Toney, a very elusive wide receiver. Track star, maybe not the fastest of receivers. Still extremely fast. But his big thing is his elusiveness. Very elusive. Now, if you're the Chicago Bears, you're in a tough spot. Because according to this, no great, like the best offensive tackles, these three right here. You could take Mac Jones. Bit of a reach, if I may say. Now, according to this, interior offensive line, Wyatt Davis, Creed Humphrey, Landon Dickerson, not really doing it for you. You could go wide receiver, as Allen Robinson is probably not going to come back. They do have a nice deep threat in Darnell Mooney. So I think if Kadarius Toney was still here, that'd be the nice pickup. Putting Toney with Mooney, it'd be very hard to cover. I think in the end, though, I'm going to go ahead and go with Jalen Mayfield. He's more of a power run blocker, which works well with David Montgomery being their feature on offense. And also, you can look at wide receiver a little bit later on in the draft, as these 10 or so, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, these 8 are amazing. 9, 10, I'd say these top 10 receivers are great. These, I don't know too much about Demetric Felton, but you can go down here for quite a while. There are some very good wide receivers down the board, so you can go wide receiver in the second round and still great value for one. Now the Colts are honestly in a very similar position to the Chicago Bears, as they need a quarterback bad. Jacoby Brissett ain't the answer. They could end up trading for Carson Wentz, even though I don't think they have the Eagles are being morons with what they're asking for Carson Wentz. But I think honestly at this point, you take best player available and you go Kwity Paye. You could go Could go Tevin Jenkins or Eichenberg, Leatherwood. But I think Kwity Paye falling this far down the board, you absolutely have to go with him, bumping up that defense as two Michigan players that go back to back. Now the Tennessee Titans honestly have a very good, complete roster. But their needs are big. Like, they don't have a lot of them, but the ones that they have are fairly big. If Paye had slipped one more pick, would have been a beautiful fit there. Interior defensive line, I think Barmore, maybe not. Same with David Nixon. I don't quite like the value that they're getting there for those two. Wide receiver, Bateman could be great. Rondale Moore, I think, is an absolute stud. Could go here. But I'm going to go ahead and go with Joseph Osai from Texas. Absolute stud off the edge and fills out their biggest need. So now the New York Jets, we took offensive tackle, second overall pick. We're sticking with Sam Darnold. We need to give him some weapons. We're going Rondale Moore. He's the best receiver available. Absolute stud potential. He goes 23rd overall to the Jets, where he will probably be wide receiver 1 right away. Now the Pittsburgh Steelers is one you have to say, well, you can't assume they're coming back, and that's Alejandro Villanueva. You can't assume he's coming back. You got to go Tevin Jenkins, protect off the offensive line, plus protect Big Ben, plus the offensive line. Whether he comes back or not is a big need. So they get Tevin Jenkins. Now the Jacksonville Jaguars, they need to protect Trevor Lawrence. Bad. They also have a lot of holes everywhere else, which I see another common pick here being Harris or Etienne. I don't like that as much. James Robinson won't be an absolute stud. He's not as... I don't think he'll be able to maintain his production that he had in his rookie year. But I don't think that's... You have bigger needs right now. If we go and look at offensive tackle, Liam Eichenberg and Alex Leatherwood are the two that stick out. You could go with one of these two. I'd prefer... I think Liam Eichenberg is a very good player. You could go cornerback in Asante Samuel Jr., Eric Stokes, Sean Wade. Tight end, Pat Freiermuth. Tight end is a big need, especially if they want to give Lawrence weapons. That'd be the one to go with. And you could go wide receiver as well with Bateman or Marshall Jr. I think I'm going to go with Eichenberg, though, because you need to protect Trevor Lawrence. We saw what happened with Burrow. We don't want that. You saw what happens with Luck. We don't want that. Okay, we need to keep Trevor Lawrence safe. So now for the Cleveland Browns, this might be the best fit in the entire draft. Zaven Collins, their linebacking core is complete garbage. Zaven Collins fits that perfectly. Now, the Baltimore Ravens, as you see here, they need an edge rusher. I think there's a lot of questions surrounding this player. These top two edge ones. I think Gregory Rousseau was supposed to be a near top 10 pick after last year, like not this last season, but the year before. Supposed to be a top 10 pick. He has since fallen due to the rise of Jalen Phillips filling his spot very easily. Now, Rousseau is a bit of a developmental player, but I think he works very well with the Ravens, who have Harbaugh, who's one of the best defensive coaches, and I think we'll learn fairly soon or right away, and produce. And it fits a need. I think that's a very good pick for the Baltimore Ravens. Now the New Orleans Saints. They could reach on a Mac Jones. I've seen it. Not a huge fan of it. But if he's going to go in the first round, it would be here. Linebackers, what this also says, Nick Bolton, I like. I like Baron Browning. Could go there. Wide receiver in Rashod Bateman. I truly don't know. Cornerback I haven't looked at, Asante Samuel, Eric Stokes. I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and draft Eric Stokes. A lot of potential surrounding Eric Stokes. Maybe not the most refined player as of right now, but a lot of potential surrounding him. So I think this works very well. And we're going to go ahead and stick with cornerback here, as we know they're not going to draft a wide receiver. We're going to go ahead and stick with cornerback. You could go Shaun Wade here. People are forgetting how great Shaun Wade is. Yes, he does not. He got burnt a lot this year on the outside. Don't play him on the outside. I don't think it's a perfect fit here in Green Bay, though it's about as good as it can get. I think you go Asante Samuel Jr. here and cut Kevin King. We could honestly stay quarterback here 3 times in a row for the Bills. Another popular pick is one of these two. But I'm going to go ahead and give them Jalen Phillips, who has a lot of potential. As I said, he filled in Rashod's shoes fairly easily. And he made it look easy. So either both of them are great or they're both not good, or I don't know. Kansas City Chiefs, they need offensive line help from what we saw. Having Eric Fisher back is a necessity. So you could go Leatherwood, Ray Duns, Wyatt Davis, Dickerson. But I'm going to go ahead and give them Rashod Bateman. Another receiver, maybe not the fastest, but they have a lot of speed. I think sure-handed, and I think that's what they also needed that pretty bad in the game. And finally, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They do need an edge rusher. Azeez Ojulari and Carlos Basham Jr. are the two that come to mind for me. Or some interior defensive line, David Nixon, Christian Barmore. Could bring a wide receiver because we don't know if Chris Godwin's coming back. We can't assume he's coming back. In which case, I guess we would go Marshall, Tutu, or Eskridge. Or you go offensive line. Could draft Mac Jones to be the successor. I don't think that'll work very well. But I think we're going to go ahead and go edge here and go Azeez Ojulari from Georgia. But that'll do it for me. I hope you all enjoyed. There will definitely be one coming out next week because there's so many things, like even just resulting from this pick. If they take Fields, then that messes up just about the rest of the draft board. So I'll see you all later. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you later. Adios.